Question 1. Policy provisions. Which of the following scenarios would most likely be covered under coverage D? Loss of use in a standard homeowner's insurance policy. A. A tree falls on the property, causing damage to the main structure and rendering it uninhabitable. B. The policyholder's neighbor's house catches fire and the policyholder's personal property is damaged by smoke. C. The policyholder's home is damaged by an earthquake, making it necessary to stay at a temporary residence. D. The policyholder's property is damaged by a tornado, but repairs are covered by the policy under the dwelling coverage. Answer A. A tree falls on the property, causing damage to the main structure and rendering it uninhabitable. Explanation. Coverage D. Loss of use provides reimbursement for additional living expenses incurred when a covered peril makes the home uninhabitable. This includes expenses such as temporary lodging, meals, and other costs. The scenario in option A fits this description as it directly involves the home becoming uninhabitable due to damage, thus triggering coverage D. Options B, C, and D refer to other types of coverage or situations not specifically related to loss of use. Question 2. Risk management principles. Which risk management technique involves the purchase of insurance to transfer the financial risk from an individual to an insurer? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer. C. Risk sharing. Explanation. Risk sharing involves the transfer of financial risk to another party, such as an insurance company. By purchasing insurance, individuals share their financial risk with the insurer, who assumes the risk in exchange for premiums. Risk avoidance involves eliminating the risk. Risk reduction involves taking steps to reduce the impact of the risk. And risk retention means accepting the risk and its financial consequences. Therefore, risk sharing is the correct technique for transferring financial risk. Question 3. Scenario-based question. Mr. Thompson has just discovered that his home insurance policy does not cover flood damage, which is a significant concern in his area. After discussing with his insurance agent, he is advised to purchase a separate flood insurance policy. What should Mr. Thompson consider when evaluating the additional flood insurance policy? A. The flood insurance policy's premium should be less than his current homeowner's policy premium to ensure cost-effectiveness. B. The flood insurance policy should provide coverage that complements his existing homeowner's policy and covers damages specifically caused by flooding. C. The flood insurance policy should have a high deductible to minimize the cost of the premium. D. The flood insurance policy should include coverage for personal property but exclude structural damage to keep costs low. Answer. B. The flood insurance policy should provide coverage that complements his existing homeowner's policy and covers damages specifically caused by flooding. Explanation. When evaluating a flood insurance policy, Mr. Thompson should ensure that it complements his existing homeowner's policy by specifically covering damages caused by flooding, which is not covered under standard homeowners' policies. This approach provides comprehensive protection. Option A is incorrect because the cost of the premium should not be the only consideration, and coverage adequacy is more important. Option C is incorrect as a high deductible might not always be beneficial and could lead to higher out-of-pocket expenses. Option D is also incorrect because adequate flood insurance should cover both personal property and structural damage to provide complete protection against flood-related risks. Question 4. Coverage sections. Which of the following is typically not included under coverage B? Other structures in a standard homeowner's insurance policy. A. A detached garage used for storing vehicles. B. A tool shed used for garden equipment. C. A swimming pool and its surrounding deck. D. A fence enclosed in the property. Answer. C. A swimming pool and its surrounding deck. Explanation. Coverage B. Other structures generally include structures separated from the main dwelling, such as a detached garage, tool shed, or fence. However, a swimming pool and its surrounding deck are usually considered part of the dwelling or are specifically excluded from other structures' coverage. Pools are often covered under a different policy or endorsement and might require additional coverage. Question 5. Claims process. In which situation would a homeowner's insurance policy typically not cover the cost of repairs? A. Damage to the home caused by a fire resulting from a lightning strike. B. Damage to the home from a burst water pipe due to freezing temperatures. C. Damage to the roof from wear and tear over several years. D. Damage to personal property from a theft that occurs while the homeowner is on vacation. Answer. C. Damage to the roof from wear and tear over several years. Explanation. Homeowners insurance policies generally cover damage caused by sudden and accidental events such as fire or theft, but do not cover damage resulting from wear and tear, which is considered maintenance. Option A, B, and D all involve covered perils under a standard homeowners policy, while wear and tear, option C, falls under exclusions. Question 6. Basic insurance terminology. Which of the following terms refers to the amount the policyholder must pay out of pocket before the insurance coverage kicks in? A. Premium. B. Deductible. C. Coverage limit. D. Exclusion. Answer. B. Deductible. Explanation. The deductible is the amount the policyholder must pay before the insurance company starts covering the costs. The premium is the amount paid regularly to maintain the policy. The coverage limit is the maximum amount the policy will pay, and exclusions are specific conditions or situations that are not covered by the policy. Question 7. Policy provisions. Which of the following is a typical exclusion in most homeowners insurance policies? A. Damage caused by a fire resulting from an electrical fault. B. Damage from a flood that affects the home. C. Theft of personal property from a locked car parked in the driveway. D. Damage to personal property caused by a covered peril. Answer. B. Damage from a flood that affects the home. Explanation. Most standard homeowners insurance policies exclude flood damage, requiring separate flood insurance for coverage. Fire resulting from an electrical fault, theft from a locked car, and damage to personal property from a covered peril are typically covered under standard policies. Question 8. Risk management principles. Which risk management principle involves using safety measures to minimize the likelihood of a loss occurring? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer. B. Risk reduction. Explanation. Risk reduction involves implementing measures to minimize the likelihood of a loss, such as installing smoke detectors or security systems. Risk avoidance involves eliminating the risk. Risk sharing involves transferring the risk to another party, such as through insurance, and risk retention means accepting the risk. Question 9. Scenario-based question. Mrs. Adams' home is damaged by a severe storm and she needs to make temporary repairs to prevent further damage before the insurance adjuster arrives. What should Mrs. Adams ensure when making these repairs? A. She should make extensive repairs to restore the home to its original condition before the adjuster arrives. B. She should keep records and receipts of the repairs made and prevent any additional damage. C. She should avoid making any repairs until the insurance adjuster has completed their inspection. D. She should focus only on repairing cosmetic damage to improve the home's appearance. Answer. B. She should keep records and receipts of the repairs made and prevent any additional damage. Explanation. Mrs. Adams should make reasonable and necessary repairs to prevent further damage and keep records and receipts for these repairs. This is crucial for the claims process. Extensive or cosmetic repairs are not necessary until after the adjuster's inspection, and delaying repairs could result in further damage that might not be covered. Question 10. Coverage evaluation. Which of the following is the key factor in determining if a policyholder's personal property is adequately covered under their homeowner's insurance policy? A. The personal property coverage limit is equal to the value of the home. B. The personal property is covered at replacement cost rather than actual cash value. C. The policy includes a standard deductible amount for all claims. D. The policy covers personal property regardless of the type of peril. Answer. B. The personal property is covered at replacement cost rather than actual cash value. Explanation. For adequate coverage, personal property should be insured at replacement cost, which is the amount needed to replace the items with new ones, rather than their depreciated actual cash value. The coverage limit being equal to the value of the home. Option A does not ensure personal property is covered appropriately. Deductibles, option C, and general peril coverage, option D, are not direct indicators of adequacy in personal property coverage. Question 11. Exclusions and limitations. Which of the following types of damage is typically not covered by a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Damage caused by a tree falling during a windstorm. B. Damage from a sewer backup due to a clog in the main line. C. Damage from vandalism to the exterior of the home. D. Damage from a lightning strike to the electrical system. Answer. B. Damage from a sewer backup due to a clog in the main line. Explanation. Standard homeowners insurance policies typically do not cover damage resulting from sewer backups. This type of damage often requires a separate endorsement or policy specifically for water or sewer backup coverage. Damage from a windstorm, vandalism, and lightning strikes are generally covered under standard policies. Question 12. Premium calculation. Which of the following factors is most likely to reduce a homeowner's insurance premium? A. Adding a trampoline to the backyard. B. Installing a monitored security system. C. Increasing the amount of coverage for personal property. D. Opting for a higher deductible on the policy. Answer B. Installing a monitored security system. Explanation: installing a monitored security system can reduce insurance premiums as it lowers the risk of loss or theft. Increasing coverage, option C, or opting for a higher deductible, option D, might not necessarily reduce premiums and could actually increase costs. Adding a trampoline, option A, might increase risk and premiums. Question 13. Basic insurance terminology. What term describes the maximum amount an insurance company will pay for a covered loss under homeowner's policy? A. Deductible. B. Premium. C. Coverage limit. D. Exclusion. Answer C. Coverage limit. Explanation: the coverage limit is the maximum amount the insurer will pay for a covered loss. The deductible is the amount the policyholder must pay out of pocket. The premium is the cost of the policy, and exclusions are specific conditions or perils that are not covered by a policy. Question 14. Policy provisions. Which type of property would typically be covered under coverage? C. Personal property in a standard homeowner's insurance policy. A. The structure of the house. B. A detached garage on the property. C. Personal belongings such as clothing and electronics. D. Fencing around the property. Answer C. Personal belongings such as clothing and electronics. Explanation: coverage C. Personal property covers the policyholder's personal belongings like clothing, electronics, and furniture. The structure of the house is covered under coverage A. A detached garage under coverage B, and fencing may be included in coverage B or as an additional structure. Question 15. Risk management principles. Which principle involves maintaining a certain level of risk by accepting the potential financial loss without insurance? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer D. Risk retention. Explanation: risk retention involves accepting the financial consequences of a risk without transferring it to an insurer. Risk avoidance means eliminating the risk. Risk reduction involves minimizing the likelihood or impact of the risk, and risk sharing involves transferring the risk through insurance. Question 16. Scenario-based question. Mr. Johnson is considering whether to add a rider to his homeowner's insurance policy to cover valuable personal property such as jewelry and art. What should Mr. Johnson ensure when adding this rider to his policy? A. The rider should increase the deductible amount for the specific items. B. The rider should provide coverage at actual cash value rather than replacement cost. C. The rider should specify the exact value of the items to be covered. D. The rider should cover damage from any peril, including those excluded in the standard policy. Answer C. The rider should specify the exact value of the items to be covered. Explanation: when adding a rider for valuable personal property, it is important to specify the exact value of the items to ensure they are adequately covered. Riders typically provide replacement cost coverage rather than actual cash value and are not meant to increase deductibles. They also cover perils not included in the standard policy, but coverage details must be clearly defined. Question 17. Policy provisions. Which of the following additional coverages typically covers expenses related to the cleanup of debris after a covered peril? A. Debris removal. B. Reasonable repairs. C. Fire department service charge. D. Trees, shrubs, and other plants. Answer A. Debris removal. Explanation: the debris removal coverage pays for the costs associated with cleaning up debris after a covered peril, such as a storm or fire. Reasonable repairs cover temporary repairs to prevent further damage. Fire department service charge covers charges from the fire department, and trees, shrubs, and other plants cover damage to landscaping but not debris removal. Question 18. Theoretical knowledge. What principle of risk management involves eliminating the risk entirely by avoiding the activity that generates the risk? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer A. Risk avoidance. Explanation: risk avoidance involves completely eliminating the risk by avoiding the activity that generates it. Risk reduction means taking steps to minimize risk. Risk sharing involves transferring risk to another party like an insurer, and risk retention means accepting the risk. Question 19. Unique aspects of Mississippi insurance. Which regulation must be adhered to when handling insurance claims in Mississippi to ensure fair treatment of policyholders? A. Mississippi Department of Insurance requirements. B. Mississippi State insurance fraud laws. C. Mississippi flood insurance mandate. D. Mississippi fire safety codes. Answer: A. Mississippi Department of Insurance requirements. Explanation: the Mississippi Department of Insurance requirements govern fair treatment and claims handling procedures to protect policyholders. Insurance fraud laws deal with fraudulent claims. The flood insurance mandate pertains to flood insurance specifically, and fire safety codes are related to safety measures rather than insurance claims. Question 20. Coverage evaluation. When assessing whether a homeowner's insurance policy provides adequate coverage, which of the following should be examined? A. The policy's annual premium cost. B. The extent of coverage for liability and personal property. C. The length of time the policy has been in effect. D. The number of claims filed in the past year. Answer: B. The extent of coverage for liability and personal property. Explanation: to determine if coverage is adequate, one should assess the extent of coverage for liability and personal property to ensure it meets the homeowner's needs. Premium cost option A, policy duration option C, and the number of claims option D are not direct indicators of coverage adequacy. Question 21. Coverage A. Dwelling. Which of the following events would most likely trigger coverage A? Dwelling in a standard homeowner's policy. A. Damage to a driveway caused by normal wear and tear. B. Water damage from a broken pipe inside the house. C. Damage to personal electronics caused by an accidental drop. D. Loss of property due to theft of items from a storage unit offsite. Answer: B. Water damage from a broken pipe inside the house. Explanation: coverage A. Dwelling typically covers damage to the structure of the home due to perils such as a burst pipe, wear and tear, option A, and personal electronics, option C, are not covered under coverage A. Theft from an offsite storage unit, option D, is usually covered under personal property coverage rather than dwelling coverage. Question 22. Endorsements riders. Which of the following endorsements would be most appropriate for a homeowner who has a collection of high value are? A. Identity theft protection. B. Valuable personal property endorsement. C. Flood insurance endorsement. D. Equipment breakdown endorsement. Answer: B. Valuable personal property endorsement. Explanation: a valuable personal property endorsement is designed to provide additional coverage for high-value items such as art, jewelry, and antiques. Identity theft protection, option A, and equipment breakdown endorsement, option D, are unrelated to personal property coverage, and flood insurance endorsement, option C, is for flood damage rather than specific high-value items. Question 23. Claims process. When a homeowner files a claim for property damage, which steps should typically be taken immediately to facilitate the claims process? A. Perform extensive renovations before the adjuster visits. B. Document the damage with photographs and a written record. C. Destroy the damaged property to prevent further damage. D. Wait for the insurance company to contact the homeowner. Answer: B. Document the damage with photographs and a written record. Explanation: documenting the damage with photographs and a written record helps support the claim and provides evidence for the adjuster. Performing renovations, option A, or destroying property, option C, could interfere with the claim process. Waiting for the insurer, option D, delays the process and could lead to further issues. Question 24. Policy provisions. Which of the following would generally be considered an exclusion in a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. Damage from a fire caused by an electrical malfunction. B. Damage from a hurricane affecting the exterior of the home. C. Damage from a flood that seeps into the basement. D. Damage from a falling tree due to a storm. Answer: C. Damage from a flood that seeps into the basement. Explanation: flood damage is typically excluded from standard homeowners insurance policies and requires a separate flood insurance policy. Fire damage, option A, hurricane damage, option B, and storm-related tree damage, option D, are usually covered under standard policies. Question 25. Risk management principles. Which principle of risk management involves distributing risk among multiple parties to mitigate potential financial loss? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer: C. Risk sharing. Explanation. Risk sharing involves distributing the risk among multiple parties, such as through insurance, to mitigate financial loss. The risk avoidance, option A, eliminates the risk. Risk reduction, option B, minimizes the likelihood of loss. And risk retention, option D, involves accepting the risk. Question 26. Scenario-based question. MS. Carter's home has suffered damage from a severe hailstorm. She needs to decide on the best course of action to handle the claim. What should MS Carter do first? A. Immediately repair the damaged roof to prevent further issues. B. Call the insurance company and request a claim adjustment. C. Contact a contractor to get an estimate for the repairs. D. Document the damage with photos and contact the insurance company. Answer. D. Document the damage with photos and contact the insurance company. Explanation. MS. Carter should first document the damage with photos to provide evidence to the insurance company. Contacting the insurance company, option D, is crucial to start the claims process. Immediate repairs, option A, should be made to prevent further damage, but documentation should come first. Contacting a contractor, option C, for an estimate is also important but should follow documentation and insurance notification. Question 27. Coverage limits. In a homeowner's policy, what does the term coverage limit specifically refer to? A. The amount the homeowner must pay before the policy kicks in. B. The maximum amount the insurer will pay for a covered loss. C. The annual amount paid to maintain the insurance policy. D. The number of claims that can be filed during the policy period. Answer. B. The maximum amount the insurer will pay for a covered loss. Explanation. The coverage limit is the maximum amount an insurer will pay for a covered loss. The deductible, option A, is the amount paid out of pocket by the policyholder. The premium, option C, is the cost of the policy, and the number of claims, option D, is not related to coverage limits. Question 28. Policy provisions. Which of the following additional coverages might be included in a homeowner's insurance policy to help with temporary living expenses? A. Debris removal. B. Loss of use. C. Medical payments to others. D. Personal liability. Answer. B. Loss of use. Explanation. Loss of use coverage helps with temporary living expenses if the home is uninhabitable due to a covered loss. Debris removal, option A, covers cleanup costs. Medical payments to others, option C, covers medical expenses for others injured on the property. And personal liability, option D, covers legal liabilities but not living expenses. Question 29. Theoretical knowledge. Which risk management principle involves using insurance to handle the financial burden of potential losses? A. Risk avoidance. B. Risk reduction. C. Risk sharing. D. Risk retention. Answer. C. Risk sharing. Explanation. Risk sharing involves transferring the financial burden of potential losses to an insurance company, which is a form of risk management. Risk avoidance, option A, means eliminating the risk. Risk reduction, option B, involves minimizing the risk. And risk retention, option D, means accepting the risk. Question 30. Unique aspects of Mississippi insurance. What is a specific requirement for flood insurance coverage in Mississippi that differs from general homeowners insurance coverage? A. It covers damage from high winds and tornadoes. B. It provides coverage for damage to personal property only. C. It requires a separate policy or endorsement to be purchased. D. Includes protection against damage from earthquakes. Answer. C. It requires a separate policy or endorsement to be purchased. Explanation. Flood insurance is not typically included in standard homeowners policies and requires a separate policy or endorsement. Coverage for wind, tornadoes, and earthquakes are generally covered under standard homeowners insurance where applicable, but flood insurance is a distinct and separate requirement.